This is Agbogploshny, Africa's biggest electronics wasteland, where thousands of old computers and TVs are dumped every day. Amos is just 15 years old. Each day, he and his friends come here to scrape together a living. And what do you do to get money?
We are going to pick this copper.
Do you burn it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You also burn to try to find?
Yes.
Their aim is to melt the plastic of these wires to try and salvage the small amount of copper inside.
You find children, some as young as 5 years, coming here to burn. Just in front of us.
Mike Anani is an environmental journalist who has been investigating the dumping of electronic waste in Ghana.
The TV glass, they cut you. Say, who say you come more? Say na e den na yemo. Mbowa. Na ya na mumu so yemo ya na. Na muti. Yeah. What is happening is that the electronic waste, the heavy metals, the toxic components are affecting the development of these children. These children are not growing the way they are supposed to grow.
But these desperate children are not the only ones affected by the poisonous plumes. Mike takes me into the streets nearby.
This is a food market. In fact, it happens to be the biggest food market in Accra, in the city. Everybody comes here to buy foodstuff. But unfortunately, the food, the vegetables and everything is being exposed to the toxic smoke from the electronic waste that burns on a daily basis. Every day, toxic electronic waste are being burnt here. And that means the toxic components would land on the vegetables and people would come here and buy them. Now already you can see plumes of smoke just going into the atmosphere, destroying the air quality. And there are a lot of people, children, pregnant women, who work in this vicinity.
So you work here every day, do you?
Yeah, every day, all the time.
On a bridge over the polluted river, I meet a local shoe seller.
Why don't you go to another place? You cannot work in another place.
So I work here because of my customers all stay here in the way. That's why.
So you are every day here without protection from this smoke.
No protection. No protection.
What else do you feel? Do you feel any other sickness?
Sickness, brains, all the time. You have to take medicine.
All the time?
All the time, yeah. It's not all the time. Sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
We had to move now because it's just so dust, the fumes, the chemicals, everything coming straight to our face. We can barely breathe.
You are exposing yourself to a lot of heavy metals, and these heavy metals cause a wide range of cancer. You know, lung cancer, I mean, organ cancer basically, lungs, kidneys. They cause almost irreparable damage to your health. I come here very often, you know, to monitor the situation, document, talk to people here. We need to stop the illegal shipments of e-waste, and we need the evidence, we need the photos, we need these images to inform the international community.
Mike says it has been like this for over 8 years, ever since illegal shipments of used electronics started arriving in Ghana.
Now, these items are generated by these industrialized countries, Holland, you know, America, Canada, and they are supposed to dispose of these things all by themselves. But rather than do that, they put them on ships and send them here.
We drive up to the container terminal at Tema, about 30 kilometers along the coast, to see how the high-tech trash gets here.
A lot of these containers contain electronic waste from the industrialized countries. And we're talking about 500 container loads every month of electronic waste from these countries.
Filming with a hidden camera, Mike and I are able to sneak into the container yard. An international convention has made it illegal to ship hazardous e-waste to developing countries without a permit. So, the usual tactic is to falsely declare them as working second-hand goods.
Now look at this TV. It should not be here. It's broken.
This one.
Yeah. Look at this huge old monitor.
This one is also from Holland, you think?
I'll have to find out.
We find the people involved in the shipment.
What do we country then? Australia. Oh, okay.
Australia?
Australia, yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Everything is from Australia. Oh, you've come a long way. Who lives there? Your brother lives there.
From Australia. Just arriving from Sydney.
Yeah, from Sydney.
There are currently no Australian government permits to allow the export of e-waste to any country in Africa.
It's obvious that a lot of them would not work because they have their power cords, their cords cut off. And that in the first place is junk. If you cannot test the TVs because the power cords are cut off, then what is the point in shipping them to another country? It's just junk. Nobody wants these things in their backyard. Australia doesn't want it, so they're sending it to Ghana.
In the piles of TVs, I find this one with a sticker from an Australian manufacturing company.
You like it?
Mike wants to buy it, but they will only sell it to him once the truck has left the port and gone around the corner.
I mean, most of the time when you investigate further, when you speak with these Ghanaians that you meet with the containers, they'll tell you that there are Australians who are involved in the illegal shipments of electronic waste. There's always an Australian behind it. And it is important that we trace and track down the source of the electronic waste. And I do that very often. I go around collecting the e-waste that still have their asset tags. And sometimes I call these people who once owned the electronic items and find out from them how these things got to Ghana.
When I contacted Bailey Leathers, they told me they disposed of all their old electronics through legitimate recycling channels. And of course, their free stickers could have ended up anywhere in Australia. To find out how this TV could have got to Ghana, we went to see Jordi Gill, who runs a new waste company in Sydney. He explains that environmentally safe recycling is an expensive process.
This one has recycling fees upwards of $100 just to pick it up, recycle it, get rid of the lead content, and get the goods back into the marketplace.
When Jordi sees the footage from Ghana, he's